for joining us last week. We're continuing this week. So what we're focusing on is communication and networking. This, we tell you everything is very important and essential. Yes, it is really. But this one, it can take your game from 0 to 100, because you need communication. It's your network that is your network. Networks, yes. Your network is your network. It's by relating with people that you're able to gain access to opportunity, gain access to information. It's people that is everything, right? So you have to master the skill of communicating and also relating with people, because that changes the game for you. Even if you're very skilled, you're very talented, but then you don't know how to relate with people, you will just be like a gold or diamond hidden in the ground until maybe someone stumbles across you and discovers you. But you don't want to be that. You want to be standing on the hill and shining. You want to be that lampstand that is shining for everyone to see. And it's by relating with people that you can do that. Let me not take our time. Let's hand over to Ellie and she will take us in and guide us. But just know that you have to not only listen, you have to ensure you pay attention, write down, and take it away. Thank you. Ellie, good morning.
Good morning, Blessing.
By
Good
the way,
morning,
she said
everyone.
her daughter did, her last child did it. Wonderful design. It's really very beautiful. Kudos to
Thank
her.
you.
Send my regards to her.
I
It's
will.
amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for joining us again this morning for this particular session. I'm so excited to be here. I got feedback on YouTube last week that was throwing Nigeria under the bus. I apologize for that, but I guess I just used the instance that happened before the session as example. So, like I said last week, feedback is very key. So, if you take feedback positively, you'll be able to grow. Having said that, we have two very important sessions we're going to be looking at today. And I'd like you to, just like Blessing has said, to please pay attention and also jot down your questions. At the end of the session, we'll have enough time to ask questions. I'll try as much as possible to be a bit fast. It's not so much to talk about, but just to reemphasize what some of you already know, and also to introduce some new things to some of you that are new in this game. Let me call it this game. Um, so having said that, permit me to close my camera so that we can have this conversation without any distraction. All right. So you're welcome once again. Today we're going to be talking about communication and networking. And because we're talking about communication in respect to Textilers Cohort 6, I've structured this presentation towards your projects. For those of you that have been assigned projects, those of you that have started working on your projects, this will really, really help. What exactly? I know most of us know what communication is, obviously. We've been to primary school, high school, secondary school, college, and university, and we probably, at some point have communicated with people and one another. So I'm not going to go into the details of what exactly communication is, but I'm going to talk about communication in the perspective of projects and working together, in as a team in an organization or wherever you find yourself, right? So having said that, I deliberately didn't put a content to this slides or this presentation today because we are talking about two significant topics, right? So, but you would see where the communication ends and where it moves to networking, and you'll be able to see how the two um very significant areas of our lives, merged. Now, just like I said earlier, I'm going to be focusing on the group project because that's where most of us are on this court for this year. And I'm sure some of us are probably just getting to know what group project is, or working in a project. Some of us have probably been working in silos, working on our own, doing our own thing, just getting tasks from our team lead and just doing our job. We've never had opportunity to work in a project. And so you hear people talking about projects, especially those that are coming from outside tech. You hear people talking about project. Tech guys are saying, oh, we have a project, we have a project. You probably don't know what that is all about. A group project is just where you have lots of tasks to do, and you have a collective of people doing it together to achieve a particular goal. That's basically what a group project is all about. And of course, in group projects, you have to be sure that you work seamlessly with your team, and you're able to communicate. And of course, communication is a two-way thing, the sender and the receiver. But if you don't have that skill, sometimes you find out that most projects um are not successful because of communication, and I'll show you why as we go on in this session. And so we're going to look at how we can effectively communicate so that we'll have success in our project, especially this project that we are going to embark on, or we started in this cohort. So again, why do I have to be in a project group? Why do I have to be in a group? Why can't I do this all by myself? There's so many benefits when it comes to being in a project. Of course, it enables you to have, that team spirit, um, let me call it sportsmanship. Let me use the word that we usually use here. You're able to work with other people, you understand other people, you're able to um contribute to the project. You're also able to learn from other people, because we all don't know it all, no matter how smart or intelligent you are, right? I remember last week we talked about problem solving, right? So you're able to bring in your problem solving ideas, by having mind mapping, by having focus group, by being together, discussing, identifying, that particular issue that is causing the project or whatever you're developing not to work. So again, you are able to work together in that synergy. And group project, another benefit of group project is that it distributes workload efficiently. What do I mean? You're not overwhelmed, you're not exhausted doing the entire job by yourself. With group projects, you have someone handling a particular task, another person handling a particular task. It's shared amongst all of you, and you're able to complete that project within the al al allocated time, right? And of course, when you're in a group project, before you know it, you've kind of been able to improve in your communication skills. You'll be able to prove your communication skills, your leadership skills, your expertise skills, and as many times, as many projects that you're in, you learn a lot. That's why in project there's something called lessons learned. So you learn a lot, and you can use that feedback to improve on other projects going forward. So I mean, there's so many benefits. There's so many numerous benefits of group projects. But I'm just going to talk mainly about teamwork, because again, I'm referring to this course, and because we have a project we need to deliver in the next couple of weeks. And it in team in the another benefit again is, when you're working in a team, you have that sense of responsibility that, oh, this is my task, I need to deliver it. I'm the CEO of this particular task, so if I don't deliver it well, it can break or make this project. You have that sense of, I owe this, I have to put in my best, right? And of course, again, it improves your interpersonal skills. You're able to relate with people, you're able to, you're bold to showcase what your talents, what you have, your expertise. It just improves you overall, basically. um Again, because of the nice things I've said, doesn't mean there are no challenges when it comes to group projects. You're working with different individuals that, even if you're best of friends, even if you're twin, right? you would always have challenges, except you're lying to each other. So how do you manage those challenges? How do you ensure that those challenges does not affect your project? Number one, you need to ensure that your eyes is on the goal. The goal is the success of the project, right? And make sure that when you're in this group, you're not overwhelmed. You don't want to take up all the tasks that you can't even deliver, just to show that, oh, you know what, I can do it, or I know it, I have expert in this. Things have to be evenly distributed so that everybody can work at that pace and they can deliver. And of course, you have to ensure that there's clear communication, because most times you realize that, like I said earlier, what kills projects most times is communication. Even in relationships, right? You have a bestie, and if you misunderstand each other, you always have issues. You would always have quarrels. You always pick up arguments and all of that. So those I mean, miscommunication really affects group projects. So you have to ensure that your communication is clear, is is not ambiguous. You don't leave people to assume this is what you mean, or to most times you realize that when you're having communication with some people, they just say things halfway, and they expect you to know what is in their head. I don't know if you've come across people like that, and you're wondering, okay, so what's this person trying to say? you know and of course, you have to ensure that this communication is clear, so that everybody understands their tasks and they can deliver, right? You don't have issues when it comes to the schedule of the project. Now, what are the key elements of a successful project? Number one, before you start your project, you have to have your goals and your objective. What's your goal? Our goal is to maybe be the number one at the end of this entire course. When we do our presentation, we'll have the best. We'll probably get investors on that day. We'll probably get people that will say, you know what, I want to be part of this project. I want to see that this project comes to limelight. I want to sell this project to the world and all of that. If it's whatever you're developing in your different groups, right? So you should come up with a goal, right? You should have objectives. What are our objectives for this project, right? You should set out your clear objectives that everyone agrees with. Not like you come up and say, look, this is the objective and we all have to run with it, right? And you need to define responsibilities. Who is doing what? Who is going to be in charge of maybe the who's going to be in charge of the power apps aspect of it, who's going to be in charge of the co-pilot AI, who's going to be in charge of the security, who's going to be in charge. You just give each other tasks to do, because if you don't, people will be confused, and at the end of the day, they don't even understand what they're meant to do, and you realize that you've wasted so much time trying to develop a supposedly fantastic project, according to your goal, and you end up not doing anything, right? And again, in communication has to be frequent, and it has to be regular, has to be frequent, and especially when it comes to projects, you have to have regular communication. That's why I love agile methodology. The stand-up meeting every day that is done in agile is amazing. So you have a stand-up meeting in Scrum, you have the 15-minute stand-up meeting. Every day you tell your team member, what did you do yesterday? What do you plan to do today? What are you doing tomorrow? I'm sorry, what do you plan to do today? What are the challenges? Those are the three, critical questions in Scrum that you ask during projects. What did you do yesterday? What do you plan to do today? What are the challenges? If you don't have this communication during your projects, you'd end up having some people pulling the entire team behind schedule. And what do I mean? So maybe someone is going through a lot, and the person, because you don't have regular communication, no regular updates, no meetings, and the person is probably shy to speak out or something, or don't maybe the person doesn't even understand what's going on. So I give you an example. I had one of our community member reached out to me during the week to say, oh, I'm having issues with Microsoft Entra ID. I've tried to communicate with someone, I don't know what to do about it and all of that, so that's communication. That's, that person is having that chat. You can imagine if that person is in a project and, the person just feels, look, we are not having regular communication. What do? I wait till the end of the project to say, look, I couldn't do this because I tried, I went online, I couldn't find solution to this, I'm stuck in this particular area, and so this is why regular communication is very, very significant, and it's good to have it, to have an update. So you have to say to yourself within the group, let's look at the time that is convenient, let's have a vote, right, to say maybe 9 p.m. West African time. um we are going to have a 15 minutes meeting every day to say, are you having challenges? Where are you? What did you do today? And all of that. That would help you, monitor the progress of the project and also the timeline. So it's very, very important to communicate. Now, how do you now create that effective team? I told you about roles and regulations, roles and responsibilities. I beg your pardon, the last slide. So, how do you now have that team that would be effective for this project? Now, haven't divided yourselves. And how do you divide yourself? You identify who is going to be an organizer. Some people are just natural when it comes to organizing things. It just comes to them by default. It's not like they're being trained. They just like to put things together and organize things. I think those are the PC, the OCD or whatever they call them. I don't know, but they're so well organized. They comes to a certain place, and before you know it, they put things together and you're wondering, oh, I've been here for so long, I didn't even know I could do it this way. So you have to identify that kind of person in your midst, or you can ask yourself, because I'm sure the question will be like, how do I identify this person? But you can ask, like, look, who is a natural organizer here, that would like to volunteer to be an organizer for this project, and what will the person be doing? The person will ensure that the stand-up meetings hold. The person will ensure that you're on schedule. The person will ensure that you meet up with deadlines. The person will ensure that the project is going as a planned, that your focus is on the goal, that your objectives are being met. More like a project manager, right? But it's going to be the one that would organize the entire thing. Now, again, you look for someone that has a leadership skill. Some, like they say, some are born leaders. You just look at someone that, has that aura that can, guide the entire team, and you select the person. Doesn't mean that others are less, they're servants or whatever. As a matter of fact, my own belief is that a leader is a servant, and that's why I call myself a servant leader, because you can't lead if you can't lead effectively if you cannot serve people, because your job as a leader is actually to serve, to make sure that, look, are you okay? Blessing, are you fine? Ola, are you doing well? Chisholm, is everything okay? Victor, are you is that, are you having challenges anywhere? Winnie, is it okay where you are? Do you need some help? Or how's it going? I think you're going ahead of the team, right? So it's good to have that kind of a person. Then you also need someone like a researcher, someone that can, you know, um, look at it and look at the entire project and say, look, this is what I would like to suggest. This is where I think we should go. This is what is happening now. Let's use this AI tool. Let's not use I don't want to mention tools now. Let's just use a particular AI tool. Let's use XYZ AI tool, because I think this one would help us with, solve this issue, or help us bring this project in a better perspective, right? So you need to have that person that would always go back to say, okay, yeah, this is our next step, but how can we go about this? What are the things that we need to do? How can we manage our time effectively, right? And you need someone that can present your project at the end of the entire project, that can present it excellently well. There are some people that you just need 2 minutes with them, or what's 2 minutes? 30 seconds with them, and they will tell you what what they need, and within that 30 seconds they can pass the message to you, and you'll be wondering, wow. I'm sure a lot of you watch all this investors what's it called now, not skits now, investors program, I'm sure maybe on YouTube, or online, or on TV, where they'll tell you to come and pitch for your product, right? And some people will do it excellently well, and you'll be wondering what's going on, So again, I also believe that some have it naturally, and some have learned it over the years. So when you pitch to investors or to a group or to your board or to your management or to your department, right? You should be able to give them the significance of that product you're developing. Why are we developing this product? Why do we think that this product will sell? Why do we think that the ROI, the return on investment of this product will be positive, right? So you have to have that person that will be able to present, because even if you develop a beautiful product, right? That the whole world is waiting for something that once you drop it, just like when Facebook came, right? The whole world is like, wow. So we can actually communicate and share pictures with people that are not even close to us, right? And you don't have a good presenter, someone that would sell that product. You just realize that on that day when you're doing your presentation, everybody's just looking, everybody's just bored. They don't even understand what the product is, right? So you have to ensure that you have that kind of person in your midst. Now, what are the strategies that you can use for communication? You can use tools, like I said, stand-up meetings. I recommend that very well. Every day, just have 10, maximum 15 minutes. It could be 5 minutes, right? Make sure that you align what's the task for that day to the end goal, which is what you have set to deliver for the project. So you have to have that strategy in place, and you have to know what tools works for you guys. Do you want to have Slack group? Do you have to have WhatsApp group? Whatever group you want to have, but just make sure that it's regular and your communication is clear. Now, there's something called time management in projects, right? So time management is very key, because again, if you don't break down your project into sprints, that's what it's called in agile, into milestones, right? To say this week, or yeah, this week, this is what we are going to deliver. Next week, this is what we're going to deliver. You'll find out that you'll just be running round the clock, and before you know it, it's time for you to present your projects, right? So you need to create timeline. And when you agree that, look, we're going to be having a stand-up meeting or a communication meeting, whatever you want to call that meeting, every day, it has to be every day. Otherwise, again, if you don't keep to it, it's going to affect the entire project, right? So it's good to assign tax to people, but when you're assigning the tax, make sure you give them a timeline to say, look, Winnie, you have to develop, yeah, this is your tax for today, and we want it in the next 1 week. You should be able to have would need you to have created or rather you will need you to create a mobile, the UI UX of a mobile app that would sell maybe designer clothes to a particular to designer clothes to a certain class of people, that kind of a thing. So you need to also ensure that the tax comes with timeline. You just don't give tax and not give timeline. Again, I talked so much about having regular communication, and the reason is because you don't want a situation just like the example I gave of someone that will come at the end of towards the end of the project to say, oh, I'm sorry, I had issues. I'm going to ensure that I round up quickly. And you find out that the person, he's doing a last minute job. Again, I stand to be corrected, but I'm a process person, and I believe that if you have plans and you work in a process, you have a process orientation, that you'll be able to you know do a better job. You remember when I talked about how you put your things together and people look at it and it's error free. It just gives you that sense of responsibility. But last minute jobs, sometimes, honestly, trust me, there will always be a mistake, because you don't have time to autograph your work, to review your work, right? So make sure you avoid that. Now, we're going to talk about conflicts. I talked about, there are challenges in communication. So how do you handle conflicts? Please, you need to be professional. Even if the person, just remember that there are people in your midst that are coming to take for the first time. So please be very professional. Handle issues openly and professionally. Don't say, what do you mean you don't understand? Were you not in Joy's class that Joy told us that, Microsoft Entra ID does XYZ? Why are you not, no, we need to respect one another, and respect is mutual. So please be very professional, be very open, bring out your issues. I always say to my students, because I train, that look, there are no stupid questions, and there are no good or bad questions, right? Or answers rather, but there are no stupid questions. Just ask the question. You'll be shocked and amazed where, you know, who would learn from it. Even the trainer can also learn from your questions, from answers or experience that people would share. So please learn to handle conflicts professionally, right? And make sure that you find a compromise. Don't say no, it has to be, because I'm the leader, it has to be my way or no way. Make sure that there's a compromise. If you have to cast a vote, please do go ahead and cast a vote so that everybody is happy, right? And again, finally, make sure that your focus is on the goal. And what's the goal? To have a successful project, to be the number one, to probably win the prize or whatever it is, right? So please ensure that you handle conflicts professionally. Now, in concluding communication, that tips that I've put together here, I said a well-executed group project can be a rewarding experience. Trust me, you know how it is when you win. You just feel so excited and so happy. I don't know, winning just comes with a lot of joy and happiness, right? So make sure that you take all those tips, put it into your project so that you have that joy at the end of this course. And of course, by working together and communicating effectively, you'd you realize that the group is organized, everybody is happy, people can bring in their best, people can contribute, nobody feels inferior, no one feels, oh, I can't speak, these guys are expert, they've been in tech for God knows how long, right? Everybody is happy and everybody will be able to learn at the end of the day, right? So we'll quickly move to networking. I'm sure a lot of you are excited about networking. You've heard a lot about networking. How do I unlock opportunities in network? What do I do? And and of course, really, what is networking? I like the way that Blessing had put it. Your network is your net worth. Absolutely. The people you have around you are the people, are your that it shows how successful you are. Someone said something that if you have a clip, assuming you're a millionaire, you have a click of friends, right? That you cannot call to say, oh, I need 1 million, I need 5 million here. Then you're in the wrong group, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't have people that are not financially your par with you, but people that can say, oh, Ellie, you need 5 million. I don't have it, but you know what? Why don't you look at this, turn around this investment, do this and do this, and within the next 2 days you can get that 5 million. That is not someone giving you the cash physically, but giving you ideas on how to get that 5 million within the period of time that you need it, right? So networking is basically building a relationship, right? It's not just about, you know what can I get from this person, but what can this person also get from me? Who do I know? Who knows me? Right? So it's a give and take thing. Networking is not like, oh, I want to take from everybody, I want to take from this person. You have to be ready to give as well. So I say it's a two-way thing. You give and you also receive. Now, why is it very important to network? I tell you, I'm an introvert. I'm sure a lot of people will be like, really, Ellie? Trust me. I started networking very late. I'm also a very loyal person. So I'm this kind of person that, I remember then I used to hear all these motivational speakers say, "Oh, you can't be rich with one stream of income." All those sweet things that they say. And I'm like, how can I be working for an organization and be doing business? That's unfair. You have to be loyal. You have to be this. How can I do networking? When you're supposed to be focused on your job. That kind of a thing. But I realized later, and I'm sure God has timing for everything. So it's not late for God, but I feel, I thought it was late, but trust me, I was able to catch up. I'd even superseded people that started networking way, way, way years before me. And so networking is very, very important, no matter who you think you are. Networking plays significant role in career, in relationship, in your life. You can't even walk alone. You know what they say, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk with people. You cannot walk far without having people in your network, right? People you have in your network, you'll be amazed if you lose your job or you want to change job. All you need to do is, oh, Tosin, I'm actually thinking of changing my job next year. Um, this is my resume and all. It's like, oh, really? There's this opening, I know XYZ person, he's looking for this person for your role. I can help you sort it out. And before you know it, you already have a job. You have the opportunity to go for the interview to showcase your expertise, and before you know it, you already have a job, right? And of course, it's good to have mentors. I remember my story last week. I struggled because, of course, when I started my career in a male-dominated zone, it was very difficult to find a female mentor, even though there are great male mentors, but female mentor that would understand some um female challenges I'm going through, as well as my job. So you need to have mentors. Even mentors need mentors. Trust me, I have mentors, and I'm still looking for more mentors. Despite that, I'm certified mentor with Google, I'm certified mentor with ADP List. I still look for mentors. I still have mentors in my life because you can't do it all alone, right? So these are some of the reasons why networking is very important. So what are the benefits you get from networking? Networking is not only about career. Remember I said it earlier that there are some things in your life that you're going through, personal things, hormonal things, marriage, raising children, making money, so many things you can think of in your life spiritually, and you need someone to just help you and have that network that, oh, I have a network of people that all we talk about is investments. I have a network of people that all we talk about is how to be faithful to our wives or how to be faithful to our husband. I have a network of people that all we talk about is career growth. I have a network of people that, just have those networks around, and you'll be amazed how when you're in that need, how you can draw from that network, and when they need you to, you can also pour into the network. You learn a lot because people have different experiences, different perspectives about life, and they will be able to share that with you, and you can grow and become even more confident in everything that you do. Now, there's some myths about network, just like I had when I was, when I started my career. I just look at when people talk about networking, then I was like, I'm an introvert, not networking. I don't go to parties, even up till now. It has to be family party. And you know what they say in IT, LIFO, last in, first out. I'm the last to go to the party. I'm the first to leave the party. So I always think networking is not for me. Networking is for extroverts, people that are out there, people that like to go out, people that like to do all those things. But it's not true. It is not true. Trust me. Because networking, like I said, I give example of different kind of networking you can have. You can imagine if I started, having those clusters of networking, I'll probably be, God knows where I'll be right now, So, but networking is very, very important, and it's for everybody. It's not for extroverts. Please take that myth out. It's not for extroverts. Anyone can network. You can even network with children. For all you know, you can have, you know, young people younger than you, way, way younger than you. And I love to network with young people that are like 20 years, 30 years younger than me, because you learn a lot. You are in tune with what's happening, you understand what is going on. It will help you in some areas of your life. So networking is very, very crucial. Just find whatever suits you in networking, whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be LA style, it can be anybody's style, right? Another thing they say is, oh, when you network, network is manipulative. If you network, you have to start buying. If you have to go to parties, you have to start buying the common clothes they wear. They call it ashwebi here in this part of the world. You have to start, doing things, the same way with them. If you network, if you want to go for some events, because the class of the people that are there, you may not want to carry your Toyota Corolla car, because you don't have a CRV or a SUV. That's not true. It's how you carry yourself, honestly. With networking, you'll be amazed that even while you're there at that party, you're talking business and someone is giving you a deal that will make you buy 10 times of that SUV that you're looking at. So, networking is very, very important. It's a connection that you need all through your lifetime. So you need to ensure that you build a good relationship both ways. So don't say, I just want to collect from this person, I'm not giving this person. And remember, communication in networking is very key. So you don't network and start blabbing. You have to know how to communicate with people, for with your different circle of network clusters that you have. Now you say, okay, so where do I network? I'm an introvert, Ellie. How? Where do I find those people? You can network at professional events. So your company is having maybe end of the year party, whatever it is, or you're in a cybersecurity professional group, and they're having a conference or they're having a workshop or anything. You can, you attend online, offline, physical. You attend those sessions, and when you attend, don't just attend and sit back like I used to do, and just sneak in, sneak out. Attend and try to meet people, whoever is sitting beside you. Say hello. If it's an online event, look for people and just private chat them to say hi. This is my LinkedIn, I like to connect with you. Or look at the lists. What I do is normally I snap the list, the name of people on the online meeting, and I go on LinkedIn and start adding them. Of course I look at them, the ones that are relevant to me, and I add them because I want to learn. That's networking. I talk about, oh, hi, my name is XYZ. I met you at the event, or rather, I got your details from the event that we had, textile events on the 31st of May. I like you to add me to your network. I like to learn a lot from you, and I think I have so much you can also learn from me. I look forward to having this connection sealed. And that's it. So you network, you need to network because you can never tell, right? And again, don't forget that you can also network within families, alumni, communities, estate meetings, name it, whatever. Just make sure that you're always pushing yourself out there. That's the only way people can know what you're worth, right? So, how to network effectively? Yeah. You remember I talked about when I was talking about communication, elevation pitch, right? That you go for all these, is it Lions then? I can't remember one of those investors forum that you go for, and they'll tell you, okay, in 60 seconds, sell your product. Let me see if I can invest in your product, right? So when you're networking, don't blab and write things that will put the person off. If it's online, just like I said, you're going on LinkedIn and you're telling me stories, you know, that I'm not ready to listen to. Go straight to the point. Tell me the reason why you want to network with me. Tell me the benefit of you networking with me, what I'm going to get from you and what you're going to get from me. You see some people, Lions Den, thank you. You see some people, right? I've had cases of top people, top people in the industry, elderly top people that have 40 years experience. And they sent me to say, dear Nilola, on LinkedIn, and they say, oh, I've looked at your profile. It's so impressive. I'm so excited with all the things you've done. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, woo, wow, woo, me, but you'll be amazed. That alone is catching. And I just quickly accept. I look at the person's profile, I reply and I say, I'm so excited to learn from you, da 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 da, and we become friends. I tell you an instance. So there's this workshop we had, at Forbes Technology Council, and one of the person that came to give one of the, what's it called, the guest that came, that spoke, um this man is an American, right? And he was the chief security, that's cybersecurity, for all through Obama's 8 years, what's it called? Um, tenure, right? And he's done a lot, worked with various security protocols in the US, name it, the FBI, the CIA, and all of that. And after of course, we share LinkedIn and all of that. So after, like like I told you, I take screenshots of the attendees. And I was just sending email. I just said, "Oh, it was nice connecting with you. The sweet words, wonderful pitch, And I was shocked that this man responded. I mean, look at his profile. He responded. And guess what? We're best of friends today. We are best of friends today. He said he would like to have a meeting with me. We had meeting online, was really nice. We had our meeting was supposed to be an hour. It took us almost 2 hours. It was a wonderful meeting. He was so excited, he was like, oh, he'd like to come to Nigeria. I would like to do a lot in Nigeria. You like to do this and that. And he knows a lot of people all over the world. Of course, someone that worked with Obama security, head of security. So you imagine what I'm talking about. So that's networking. So your elevation pitch has to be top notch, such that the person will be willing and happy and excited, to have that relationship with you, or that networking session with you. Now, for those that used to be like me, that, oh no, networking is not for me. I'm an introvert, right? Just start small. When you finish today, maybe after your classes today, just say, you know what? Let me start looking for people around my neighborhood, people I think I can learn from, people I think can learn from me. Just start small. You're never going to open a WhatsApp group to say, look, let me add my friends, to this. There's something they taught us in business school, that if you want to start business, family, friends, and fools, those are the people you need their money. Family, friends, and fools. Because those are the people you know. The family will give you, like, auntie, I have this business. I want to start selling clothes, whatever it is, families will give you. Friends are there because you've always been there for them. And some fools that just feel, okay, I'm popping my money. I mean, those three people, FFF, right? So start small. Then make sure you attend events with, oh, my friend is attending, there's this conference, oh, that is coming up. Can I come along with you? And you go, tech conference. When you get there, oh, hello, my name is and Santo. I'm this and that. I just finished my course at Textilers. I'm trying to get into tech. I'm ready to do any internship job with you. You don't have to pay me. I just want to learn. I'm eager to learn. And the person sees, I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, come along. And before you know it, you're opening doors, right? So you have to be focused, and you have to make sure that you spend quality time. Not like you go to places and all you go there to do is just to gist, eat, drink, and social media, spend 10 hours on TikTok watching what you're not, that is not even going to edify you. Time is very important. And if you lose that time, you can't get it again, right? So you need to make sure that you your focus, you attend events, and quality events, or events that will edify you, not just any event. Don't say, oh, Ellie said we should attend any event. So finally, I take away for networking is that networking is about building relationship. I talked about it all through. We need to build that relationship. We can't walk alone. You cannot do it. And you have to know the people that are in your space. Don't just bring in everybody. Otherwise, they will dampen your energy. You have to bring people that have same energy with you, so that when you pull those energy together, you're going places. Look at those guys that started Andela, Flutter Wave. I mean, look at the energy. This guy started in one room apartment. I'm sure you know their story. But where are they today? They are billionaires in dollars. What are you saying? So those are the kind of network you need, right? Don't despise the days of little beginning. Oh, just start your network and know that these people have the same value with you. Don't say, oh, I have to get someone that is up there. No, start with someone that that is focused, someone that has values, someone that has the same goal with you. You're going to the same direction. And what does networking do? It opens doors. Look at the story I just told you about that man. that right now we are friends. You can imagine if anything happens or someone, God forbid, decides to scam me in America, all I have to do is pick up my phone and call him and say, look, somebody just scammed me. In the whole of that America, I'm safe when it comes to cybersecurity because I've been able to build that network, right? So it opens doors for you, opens opportunities, and it also helps you to grow. Every year we set our goals. Look back and say, how has network influenced this particular goal that I set for 2025? you know and that would help you in growing in every aspect of your life, not just your career alone. So having said this, I'd like to say thank you for listening. And today I'd said I'm going to finish early so that we can have lots of questions and answers. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm ready. Please, let's have the questions, clarifications, contributions too, please. Thank you so much.